Well, it's raining, but I ain't complaining. I'm gonna finish putting the drive shafts in, then it's gonna be pretty well ready for a test ride. Well, I've got some work to do. You just hang out and watch. Off I am with my front shaft. Got the first bolt in. Maybe a little twist in, and the next bolts will fall right in too. Because tomorrow's a big day for me. I'm gonna crush my first camper here on this farm. That's a big deal because the owner of this place was insightful enough that he wanted to get my truck involved in his operation. And it's just a few miles up the road, so the way I figured, this could be my place to put on a show once a week. But he was a little bit leery about letting me crush things and crash things. Then I ran it the first weekend and kind of babied it a little bit. Of course, the transmission wasn't doing anything really, so I didn't have really no choice but to baby it. And I think he understands now that people want to see a monster truck run things over. I know that's what I want to see. And maybe even a bit more. Let's go for a test ride. It's got reverse. It's got forward. Well, it's got first gear in reverse, and that's it. I don't know. I put the shifter manually throughout the gears. No second, no third, no drive. Only reverse and first. They feel good now, but now there's no 2 and 3. I'm gonna take the shifter linkage apart and make sure they're actually going in, but even if they weren't, at some point, you should hit the gear. Some point on this shifter should land on the gear. Perhaps I didn't put the valve body together correctly. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing, but I sure am wet. So this is my kick down switch. It's a trigger to downshift Turbo 400. I've never had it hooked up, but it's always been in there, on this transmission anyway. I broke it off when I was putting the trans back together, and I thought that I should just leave it out since I never hook it up anyway. But now that the transmission's not shifting, it's setting an alarm off, and I think possibly this has to be there. Maybe what I need it to do is just stop or slow down fluid coming through that screen. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it back together. I went to the store to try and buy one because this one's broken, but they didn't have one and they can't get it until Monday. So I'm gonna weld this one back together, if all goes as planned. In case you're late to my party, this is not a how-to video. This is a how I do video. How I do. I might be simple. This might not work. I might have just ruined everything. but I tried. I really tried. You might as well sit there and watch as I attempt to put the pan back on while it's full of oil. Just let it roll down your sleeve. I'm gonna sneak my right hand in here, and I'm gonna attempt to start the first bolt somewhere. What I'm gonna do now is put this vacuum pump on the vacuum modulator on the trans and try and shift it that way, because I think the hypothesis, I don't know what they taught me a hypothesis. I think hypothesis is an educated guess, but nobody ever taught me the term for an uneducated guess. So I'm just gonna still use hypothesis. My hypothesis, even though I'm uneducated, my educated, uneducated guess, my hypothesis is that since the diesel engine turns slower than the gas motor, I think the tranny's confused and doesn't know when to shift. I've never hooked up the vacuum modulator, but I think because I always had this thing wound up and screaming that it was always time to shift. But I think now the transmission's on lunch break and he doesn't know that I want to go faster. That's what I think. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna put vacuum pressure to this. That's 15 PSI. I don't see it leaking out. I should probably tie this up so it doesn't fly away on me and get run over. Oh, it's leaking. You dirty dog! Stop leaking! My original understanding of this kickdown mechanism was that since I didn't hook it up, I didn't need it, so I could just leave it off. Then I decided to try and block it off, because I thought maybe that's the purpose that I want it to do, is block the fluid from coming out. But somehow I think I lost a piece of that mechanism, and I just decided to make a block off plate. So I've made this. I'm going to bolt it up in place, put the pan back on, and try again. What could go wrong? Alright, this is it. Last chance, fancy pants. It's got to work. Now it works. The only thing I might want to do is gear it up. It runs, it moves, it goes kind of fast. This is going to be great. I'm going to crash through that camper.
Woo!